Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, before we get started, yesterday, when Jordan left, what I didn't realize was that was actually the actress's last day. Um, it was actually the actress's last day. And I read it today and I was like, oh wow, she really decided to leave. Um, I mean, to be honest, like I said yesterday, Jordan leaving for a little bit was like, eh. I mean, Jordan. Here's the thing: Jordan isn't a terrible character, but I don't think I can't remember one moment when I was like, I really love this character, Jordan. Ever, not once. Um, I mean, granted, not even when the first Jordan, the first one when I was not there playing Jordan, I can't even remember a moment where he just stood out. It was like, she was amazing. Um, And granted, when I did like the original actress that played Jordan. I mean, there's nothing wrong, nothing really crazy wrong with the new one. I just preferred the old one. Um, and it was interesting because there was one point where the new Jordan, or the last Jordan, had COVID, and he got a replacement. And I remember sitting there saying to myself, I was like, you know what? She's actually better than the Jordan that we have right now. Anyway, yeah, so it was pretty much her last appearance. Like as far as being Jordan. And I'm just not there wondering, alright, well, we got Sean out. So now who is Sean gonna sit there and date? I mean, are you gonna do something with Sam? I mean, what are we doing? I mean, I feel like it's some of the same thing when he brung Dante back. He brung Dante back, and then maybe about a month, two, give or take, Lulu leaves. And so I'm just like, all right, so now who Dante's gonna go with? Sam. Okay. Um, as now Jordan's going, so now I'm just like, all right, well, who is Sean gonna like? Who's he gonna sit there and date? I mean, unless they plan on springing Alexis early, I just. Anyway, I just want to kind of quickly talk about that because I thought it was interesting. Um, I thought the character was going to just leave for a little bit and like come back, maybe go on vacation or something. But when I went on Instagram today, and she was talking about like the tears was like real, and honestly, tell you the truth, I'm not too surprised because you think about it. Think about that last scene, and all it was like from a character standpoint. Yeah, it sucked that she had to sit there and leave her family for a little bit, but like she was crying, like she was leaving them forever. Um, and, you're looking at it, it's like, it's not like her kidney was going to just like expire tomorrow. Like they had a plan to sit there and treat it, and she would get better. So when you sit there and look at it in hindsight, it's just like, well, why is she crying for? You know, but in reality, it was because it was a tearful moment, and the actress was really crying. So yeah. Peter. He just made this whole episode so great. This is, honestly, tell you the truth, after watching him today, I'm just like, this is why you can't kill him off. This is why you cannot kill Peter off. Um, so it was interesting, when Peter was there talking to Nina, and he was all like, you're trying to run away from your problems, this, that, and the third. I mean, it was just a great scene. But the best part about this whole scene was when he was there telling Phyllis, that Nina knew the whole time who Mike really was. And it was so funny because Nina was like, oh, any minute that, Mike could sit there and come back. And he was like, Mike. Like, don't you mean Sonny? And Phyllis was like, who? Oh my goodness. I had to rewind that like 5 times when he exposed her. And he was like, oh, wait. He was like, Nina, you didn't touch, you mean she doesn't know? And Nina was like, no, don't do it. Nina, even if he decided to just stop and was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything, you don't honestly think that, like, she's not going to sit there and be asking questions? And so, yeah. Peter exposed Nina, told all her dirty laundry out there, and Phyllis was looking at her the whole time. There was one point where she just shook her head. And when Phyllis was like, is this true? You knew the whole time? Right into the bitter end. I was like, Nina, you are trash, but girl, you are consistent with it. I give you that. I mean, this woman was like, well, the thing is, Sonny had bumped his head, and, Mike was a better person. I was like, this chick is still trying to rationalize her decision. I'm like, delusional to the bitter end. I love it. I'm here for it. Because at this point, even when she was there trying to explain to Phyllis her idiotic explanation, you're just like, lady, you know what? At this point, you're about to die anyway, so sure. Do you? I don't understand why Nina was so worried about Peter Snicket telling Phyllis, exposing her. I was like, sweetheart, you're about to die anyway. What's the difference? I mean, yeah, I want Nina to make it out of this, because when Peter exposed Nina to one person, that was great. When she gets exposed to everyone else, oh my goodness, that cake is going to taste so much more better. It's going to be amazing. I was loving it. Just him exposing her to one person. I can't wait. I know somebody in the comment section was saying they're going to drag this out to November. I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not a fan of that. But I gotta be honest. That was one person. I had so much fun watching it on one person. I can't wait. I cannot wait until she gets exposed to everyone. And she tries to explain that BS, pathetic, delusional lie. Oh, it's gonna be great. It is gonna be great. I clearly got a lot of enjoyment out of this scene, if anyone can tell already. The whole time I was like, Peter, you have a gun. Why don't you just shoot them both and be done with them? Seriously. Just shoot them both. Oh, I'm going to sit there and have Phyllis tie up Nina, and if she doesn't get back here on time, then I'm just going to, shoot her? Then shoot them? I'm like, why are you... You know what, at this point, I don't care. Whatever. Long story short, he decides to tie them both up, and then burn them alive. I gotta sit there and say. A bullet would be too good for Nina. Really would. I mean, burning alive, I gotta sit there and say that. That seems like... Oof. I can't imagine that. Because hell, even if you survive, my goodness, though. Oof. I can't even imagine that. So yeah, no, that's a much better idea, Peter. So yeah, he decides to burn the whole place down. Because, and it's funny too because, he tapes Nina's mouth shut. Because at this point, it's like, alright, you know what, listen. I can't listen to whatever garbage you're sitting there trying to spew out. He looks at Phyllis, and Phyllis is like, I don't want to die. And, Peter's like, well, next time you'll sit there and pick better friends. Oh, who am I kidding? We both know it's not going to be a next time. I'm like, damn, Peter. Damn. Yep. He decides to burn them both alive. And Sonny, he sees the fire. He sees the smoke or whatever. He calls. He comes in there. And he sees all the flames and everything like that. And I'm just like, so what's your plan, Mike? Sonny, whatever you want to sit there and call yourself. Because you refused, and at this point, watching Jax talked to Sunny, it almost felt pointless. Felt absolutely pointless. Because every time that, every time that, Sunny was like to ask him about who he was or whatever, Jax was like, oh, she didn't tell you. Well, I'm going to sit there and leave it up to her to sit there and tell you. This isn't the first time we sat there and fought about women. Hell, this is even like the second or the third one. Jax, if you're not actually going to sit there and say anything, what are you trying to be, a man of your word? You got honor now? Is that what's going on? Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It was a great scene, but it didn't really go too much of anywhere because nothing got said. I mean, Sunny is still clinging on to the fact that he's Mike. He doesn't care about his past, yada, yada, yada. It's the same song and dance over and over again, so I'm just not going to really bother with that. Jocelyn goes off on Spencer about everything. Trina tricking her, making her lie, all that. And then Esmer comes in there. And there was one point when she said Spence, and Jocelyn, the way her eyes rolled, is pretty much how I feel every single time that this woman says, well, Spence was not there doing this, and Spence was doing that. And I'm like, you're still calling him Spence. There was one point where Jocelyn was like, you mean Spencer, right? Spence. Okay, sweetheart, fine. You're just gonna annoy everyone. That's just great. So pretty much, long story short, she pretty much threw him under the bus. Jocelyn left. You see those two talking, and Jocelyn just kind of looks like, what's going on? I guess, Esmer was just like, I don't want her catching wind that we're both in cahoots and stuff like that or whatever. So she was like, all right, he needs to work on his manners, blah, 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 blah. If you're in boarding school, okay, yeah, we get it. Spence. Yeah, got it. Esmer. Whatever. The scenes with Drew was actually really great. I'm actually really, and I've said this before, and I'm probably going to sit there and say this again, I'm really liking Cameron being Drew. I do. So yeah, they pretty much kind of plotted their escape a little bit, which is kind of odd. So, Drew acts like he's injured, and they managed to get one of the keys. Well, they managed to get the whole key set. So they're going through, the different corridors or whatever, and she's like, there's about 10 guards. Now, I'm sitting there looking at this whole thing, I'm like, so you're going to just fight your way through all 10 guards? It's just going to be a gauntlet? Is that it? Like, that's literally what it is. They take out one guard. Now, they get to the part where they're at the door. The last door before they, they're able to get to the cars and the hot wire. Oh, never mind. She managed to grab one of the, car keys or whatever. So he's not there trying to, open the door. There's a bunch of keys, and he's not there trying to go through each one. He realizes that they're both not going to make it out. And so after he opens up the door, which is actually kind of odd, because I was like, bro, this is your chance. You can literally take her, and you can both go. No? Okay, fine. So I guess Drew just kind of maybe just thought about it longer. Was like, all right, maybe there's a good chance that both of us may not make it out. So he stalls. She gets out. And he stays and, well, gets another ass kicking. So, it was an entertaining scene. I did like it. I'm like, Drew, I get it. You're a fit and strong guy, but I don't know how many beatings you can sit there and keep taking. And now that the nurse isn't there, alright, bro, good luck. It's always funny whenever I see Sam wearing the Aurora shirt and everything like that, the the baseball team and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there thinking, when was the last time you actually been in that office? When was that? Yet you still walking around with the Aurora Media shirt on, and I'm just like, you haven't stepped foot in that office since Drew was there. That was years ago. Anyway, her and Dante start flirting with each other, and then at some point they decide, Sam decides, oh wait, Drew's captured. He may need my help. So they talk about it, and you talk about Shiloh, her parole, and then they talk about Harmony. Pretty much, they go to the prison and tries to see if they can get information out of her to somehow get information out of her that maybe Shiloh had as far as trying to help, as far as trying to get Drew, help Drew escape. I have a feeling that somewhere along the line they're gonna meet in the middle with the nurse, which again is just like, all right, so who is the woman that Peter threw in the dumpsters? I'm. What, they're gonna sit there and try to act like that scene didn't happen either? Alexis and Harmony talk for a little bit. At first, it's a big confrontational between Alexis and Harmony because, Alexis cannot forgive what Harmony did to her children, which I totally understand. But Harmony's like, yeah, listen, I did it. I testified against them. I'm paid for my crimes. Just like you. And then, Alexis is like, yeah, I'm not exactly so squeaky clean either. Maybe we should start this again. But they do talk about Esmere. And Harmony points out that Ryan was actually upset by Esmere's presence. And that, Esmere is a person that she may smile, she may look pretty or whatever, but she will stab you in the back in a heartbeat. Like, literally, without thinking twice. So, stay clear away from her. This is the second time that she's given that warning. And then, Sam and Dante go in and try to talk to her. And at first, she gets hyper defensive. And then, Sam's like, whoa, 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 whoa. We need your help. I want to calm down a little bit. Jesus. I think that's about it. I gotta sit there and say, this episode is actually pretty good. Yeah, actually hasn't been this good in a while. I mean, it's always been like, lately it's been somewhat average, but it's actually gotten a lot better. And I gotta sit there and say, I did enjoy this episode today. Yeah, with that being said, I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. I will see you in the next video.